everyone, my name is Abu Bakr Mahmoud, and in this video we will see how we create a database and then create it also here in MySQL SQL Server. I use warm server here, as you can see. We'll create a database. Let's name it school. We will give it the local UTF-8 general so that it accepts all languages. And this is our database, empty from any tables, no tables at all. So in this school, we have, for example, 3 programs. So we will write programs. And the programs table, it has 2 fields. First one is ID, which is integer, 11 bytes. That is auto increment to make it a primary key as well. And then program name. This is a varchar of say 20 characters. We'll go to the structure of this table again to make sure that the ID is a primary key. It's a primary key, yes. So we will insert. Program 1 is electricity. Program 2 is mechanics. This is industrial school. We'll add also program 3, which is painting. Okay. So in the programs, we have 3 programs: electricity, mechanics, and painting. Now, this table, we created it manually without using Dalinga because it is very small, and even the data in it is it's like a lookup table. So we'll go here, create the database. We'll call it school. And then we'll create a table in this database. We call it students. We'll go to table students. It has a gender, random, male or female. The full name is nice, concatenation. If gender is male, give us the first thing is male name. Otherwise, give us female name and then a space, and then concatenate a male name at the end. Instead of works at, we'll write program that the student is studying in that program. So it is int from 1 to 3. Why from 1 to 3? Because we have only 3 programs. Email of the student is, for example, we don't have works at here, so we'll just write at gmail.com. So it will concatenate the full name, space, and then it will replace all the spaces with null and lower the full name, and then at gmail.com. Photo is taken from the gender, otherwise none. It's either male or female. If male, it will give us a photo of men. Otherwise, it will give us, if female, it will give us photo women, and we don't have any otherwise. We don't need the start job. We have enrollment date. Enrollment date. It's a date. Is a student. The notes that he is a student. Enrolled at enrollment date. We take enrollment date, put it here. So it will give us the full name, space, is a student enrolled in, and then enrollment date, enrolled at. Okay, we'll save this table. We have 10 records, let us see it. So we have male, Kevin Mark @gmail.com. The program is 1. Female, Jennifer Richard. Program is 3. Jennifer Richard @gmail.com. And photo, you can see it is taken from the random user API. And photo is women because Jennifer is a woman. So you can open any new tab and you can see the image. And you can right click on Mark's image and open a new tab. So you can see this is Mark. So this is the URL that we are using to get the images, either men or women. So this is the JSON. Let us see the SQL. Save. And let us increase this to 100 records. Also save. And let us refresh the URL here. You can see IDE.flowbytes.com and then the API PDO. The method is URL run, DB name school, TB name, the table, students, the user ID is 4. If I refresh, because it's SQL, it's going to give us the SQL with all the data, 100 records. I'm going to copy all this. I'm going to come to my database here, school. I'm going to go to SQL and paste the SQL. Now we have drop if exists, and it's obviously that it doesn't exist, so it will ignore this one. Or you can just take it if you don't have the table already in your database, and we can run this SQL. And it is successful. If I refresh my database here, I have a table called students, and this is the table with all the data, 100%, and 100 records as well. So the program you can see here, like for example, you can say select from students where program ID, what is the name of the column? Program, where program equal 1. You'll see all the students who are enrolled. And I see it is written mistake here. It is program. So let us just go to the structure of this, or actually we can go here, change this to the right program, and then save it, and then refresh the SQL. Now we can take it with the drop table so that it can drop the table, and then it can create it again. Run. So after pasting all the code here, we will leave this drop table if it exists, because it exists actually. So once you go, it will give you just a warning, and then okay, everything is fine. If I go to my tables, look at the students, now I have program, it is correct. For example, I can come to the SQL and say select all from students where program equal to 1. And it will give me all the students who are enrolled in the first program. So with these simple steps, I have created a table filled with the data, testing data, fictitious but realistic. Like if you look at the email, it is derived from the name. James William at gmail.com. And because he's male, also we have a photo of a man. That's what we mean by realistic data. So we'll go here in the database also and create another table. We'll call it, for example, subjects. Now, this table subjects, we'll edit it, we'll remove everything, and then we'll just make random, for example, math, technology, lab. And if I save this table subjects and I want to see it, it will give us like that. But also we want to, for example, link sorry, instead of gender, we have to call it subject or name, and then save. And then here, we want to concat, take random from this, and then concat the ID with the ID. Save it. So the name is a concatenation. It will take random from these values, and then it will concatenate the ID. If I go here and refresh, so the name Math 1, Technology 2, Math 3, Lab 3, and so that. Also, we will add a new field called program. And this field is just int between 1 and 3, because we have only 3 programs. We'll just save this. You want to see the data. So the program, so this subject, it's with the program 1, this subject with the program 2, this subject, and so on. So this table now, I will take the SQL version of it, save it, come here to the URL of the table and refresh. And instead of 10, just let us make it 30 and save it. Refresh. And I have 30 records. I'll copy that. I'll go to my database, go to SQL, paste it, and run. And immediately I'll be having a table in my database called subjects. So like this, you will start creating your database filled with the data. And in the meantime, without creating a web service to read from this database so that your developers can read from the database and work, you can actually give them a link. For example, this student table, I will create a web URL link. So this is student, I will click here, the link, students. I will name it link for developer Jack, for example, Ahmed. You have a developer named Ahmed, you want to give him this link with 30 rows as a JSON format, English data, or you can choose any locale, and then save it. So you have immediately here link for developer Ahmed. So Ahmed will start working to create the screen for this table before you create your database in development mode or in production mode. You just copy this link, but it will give us now a warning. If I click here on copy the link, it will tell me at least create one API key to share links. So I will go to API keys and I will add key for Ahmed. So this is the key for Ahmed. I can copy the key and you can see it here. It's just a key. But you don't use the key alone. You have to go here to the link for developer Ahmed. When you copy, it will just take any key from here and put it here. And you can change this key by the key of Ahmed. And we have only one key here. So you can see here the URL is method user link. Link ID is 28 and API key. This is the API key. And if we press enter, we'll see 300 records JSON from that table. Now Ahmed can start immediately creating the screen to read or edit that table, stuff like that. Without waiting for the database to be created in a server and then create the web service that reads from the database and then expose it to Ahmed and that long story. We'll just give him that link and he will start creating the list screen for the students and stuff like that. So this is how you create your database. You create URL web links, you copy them, you send them to people and stuff like that. So thank you very much. This is for just creating a database here in your MySQL. I am using WAM server. It's a free server for MySQL. This is how you create your database, how you create the same database here by the same name. And then you start creating your tables and transferring them to the database filled with the data, and you can start immediately testing your app. Thank you very much.